Hey everybody, thank you for stopping by Living To Do's review of Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 10, called Love is Up in the Air. Before I get started with the review, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. So let's go ahead and get started with this review. Not a whole lot went on with this review, but we will start with Nicole and Chris. The scene opens up with them with their big old dog jumping on their bed. It couldn't be me, but okay. This dog is just too big to be on the bed. They seem to be getting along okay. They went and had couples massage. And only thing interesting there was they had a male masseuse and a female masseuse, and the female masseuse massaged Chris, and the male masseuse massaged Nicole. I just thought it's interesting to see. Do guys get jealous if they see a guy massaging their girl? I just thought it would be the other way around, but interesting. There they talk about their love language, and Chris's love language is touch. So massages are right up his alley. And Nicole, he thought that was Nicole's love language as well, but she said that touch, she's loving it, but it's new to her. She didn't like that before she met Chris. No PDA, nothing like that. But now that she's with Chris, she loves being next to him, touching him. So she's really feeling something for this guy. It's something different than she's felt with other guys. So good for Nicole. They went on a date night. She took him out to some interesting drink bar. They were doing something with a drink and putting something on it. I couldn't figure out what that was. I got to rewatch it, but it was interesting. There, they were talking about, well, Chris said to her that he's proud to call Nicole his wife. And he believes that, he said in the confessional, that she wants him to say, I love you first. I know she's chomping at the bit for that, someone reaching out to her, loving her in that way. She wants to hear it. It will make her feel, over the moon. You could just see her waiting for that. And I think as soon as he lets it out the bag, she's going to come back right fast with I love you too, because she wants that. When they get home, they had a discussion about Chris wants to look good for his wife. We see him cutting his own hair. I'm impressed with that. He wants to look good for Nicole. He told her that he has body insecurities and he's working on it. And then he brings up, I want you to know before you hear it from anywhere else that he told production that after he met her, he told them that Nicole was a little thicker than he's used to. But he really hurried up and corrected himself, or clarified that thick is sexy and athletic. He didn't want her to feel bad about it. But Nicole said that was a little jarring to hear. It's insulting to hear that. She has full-blown body dysmorphia. So she's very insecure, and all of a sudden she's on the couch, and she said she's readjusting herself because she wants to hide her roles. She feels uncomfortable now. And in the confessional, she says he has a lot of balls saying that about her. She said it was potentially hurtful. So I feel for her on that. That does sting, but he wanted to be honest, I guess. And it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. But next week we see that Chris is meeting with his father-in-law, so that should be interesting. But that was pretty much it for that couple. On to the next couple. The next couple will be Gina and Clint. Clint, we see, is talking to his mother on FaceTime, and he's discussing how she ran a business. Did it take a lot of her time? And his mother said that it did, that the business consumes you at first. It gets better. So I think that's giving him an idea how, why Gina is acting the way she does about her business. She's very consumed with it. And we see that Clint's mother, she's a pretty lady. She looks just a little bit older than Clint, and she's blonde, real blonde, if it's real. Um, and if it's real, maybe Gina doesn't have to worry so much for those redheaded babies that she might have that she wouldn't want. I just think, how would Gina act if her children with Clint or whoever, the children come out with red hair that she openly doesn't like, the ginger features? I wonder if she would be outwardly disappointed in that, if that should happen. Um, we see that Clint, he made a visit to Gina's salon, and he's with her coworkers, and he gets along with anybody. He seems comfortable in new settings, and he's comfortable enough to tell potty jokes. And I don't know if that rubbed the coworker the wrong way, but she asked him if he was if he's cluttered, if he has cluttered, or if his house is a mess, that type of conversation, because she thought she equates people who tell potty jokes as dirty, that they're dirty people, their house is dirty. But he said he's very clean, but you're just comfortable telling potty jokes to people you just met. Um, when he leaves, he hugs Gina goodbye. He doesn't give her a kiss. I don't know if they're back to kissing just yet. We haven't seen too much of that. They had an exercise as a couple that they were to hold hands and try to ask deeper questions, such as, what brings you joy? Gina says quality time and decompressing. That part. I feel her on that. That's a luxury. And Clint is, what brings him joy is friends, family, and food. They talked about something that was difficult they wanted to share with each other. And what was difficult in her past is that in her childhood, her parents were divorced, I guess. That whole situation was hard on her. And then for Clint, uh, a difficult situation in his past was he went out with a girl and got her pregnant, but she had a miscarriage. And that situation, it was so emotional that his whole body broke out in a rash. So that just tells me, he's a feeling person. He's connected to his unborn child, and he was willing to have this baby. He wanted the baby, even if it wasn't going to work out with the lady and the girl. So he was feeling connected. He was really wanting his offspring. I like that in a guy. I like a guy who wants his child. And that type of loss does affect them, and it's important to them. They don't take it lightly, and I like a guy like that. They talked about their chemistry and what scares you, and it's their chemistry that they may not continue to grow. And Clint wants to, keep trying to bond with Gina before decision day. Clint takes Gina out on a boating trip because he's very into boating. And Gina, oh, lucky Gina, she got to utilize her wedding gifts, or a wedding gift that Clint gave her, which were boating gloves. I mean, how thoughtful. To me, if I got boating gloves as a wedding gift from my husband, that's a red flag. As would be a motorcycle helmet, a gun. Just those are not things that a woman would want to receive as a gift, especially a wedding gift. But Gina enjoyed herself, and Clint said that he's it's natural for him in boating. He is 8th generation of boaters. He's the 8th generation. So I wondered, way back then, I wonder where they sailed from. Um, they also went bull riding. There was a bull riding competition in town, which that makes sense. They're in Nashville. And they looked like they had a good time. Clint believed he could be a bull rider. Gina didn't think he could do it. But the name Clint, that's a perfect name for a bull rider. Very southern. But that was it for them. They were kind of boring. Not a whole lot went on. So let's all go on to the next couple. Okay, the next couple will be Shaquille and Kirsten. The two had a conversation asking what will it take to fall in love. And they both said time. Kirsten said quality time. And Shaq said time. I just think that his patience is running out a little bit when it comes to Kirsten. He wanted her to meet his mentees, the boys that he's always out with doing things as a group, bonding with the young gentlemen at his college, the school that he works at. They come over and they made food for the boys, and we see the boys eating. But Kirsten and Shaq are not. They're just sitting there watching the boys eat. And Kirsten is asking, what did they first think of Shaq when they met him? And one of the boys said they thought that Shaq was corny. I guess he was trying to relate to the boys, and whatever he was doing, it just came off as corny. And one of the boys said that he feared that the wife that Shaq was going to get was going to be ugly, but they didn't think that Kirsten was ugly. They think she's beautiful. In fact, one of them asked, "Who do your hair?" And I'm like, why? Why would you ask that of her? For your mother? What do you need to know where a woman gets her hair done? Oh my God, maybe Shaquille found his tribe in those boys. They went to the nursery, Shaquille and Kirsten. He likes plants. He likes yard work. I didn't see him as a yard work type of guy. He likes raking and mowing and planting and all that stuff. And they went and bought a plant for them to have in their home because he likes watching things grow. These kind of things, these qualities in Shaquille are kind of too good to be true. He holds a doctorate. He loves plants. He wants kids. He wants to fall in love. This is just wonderful. Now, Kirsten likes to do things for her husband. She says she likes catering to him. That's good. So she planned a spacation where they had a foot massage together on the couch. They had the face mask on, and they're sitting on the couch, soaking their feet together in their own separate soaking things. And they talked about, they wanted to know what is something that I don't know about you. And Shaq said he had insecurity issues about who he is as a person, going bald, and his scar from the accident that's on his face and head. And then when he asked the same question of Kirsten, she says, well, there's not too much not to know about me. There's not much. And then earlier, all this time she's been saying, there's a lot to know about her, why she can't commit, all these excuses that she has. And that was always the excuse until, it's time to talk and let's get to know each other. What are these things that you say, about your past, about you, that he doesn't know? There's so much. And then when asked about it, you duck the question and say there's not much, and you don't give up anything. In fact, he says your walls are up, and he's frustrated with her. She's not giving what he needs from her. He's not giving it. He's not letting him connect to her. It's I think she's just there's no connection, and I think he fears that. He thinks he can fall in love with her before decision day, but he had said earlier, but you could just tell that, whatever he was feeling, all the excitement he was feeling for her might be trickling away. She thanked him for his patience, and when she said that, you could just tell his body, his mannerism, that patience is, I think, running thin. He's not okay with the situation as is, and his patience is going to run out. She is still a mystery to him, and he's not going to be able to say yes to someone that he has spent time with, that never opened up to him, that is still a major mystery to him. How does he know he can love somebody like that? It might be a no on decision day unless this girl starts opening up to her husband. Slowly but surely she should start giving something of herself to him. Not her body necessarily, but just talking, letting him know who you are. Who are you, Kirsten? Okay, the next couple, the last couple. And the last couple is Jasmine and Airris. In this episode, Airris caught the C virus, and he is sick. So Jasmine is kind of catering to him. And what I notice is she's in the house with him. He's laying on the couch, and she's walking around him, doing whatever she needs to do, but she doesn't have a mask on. And she goes back out in the world, and she's working with those kids in the cheerleading camp. She's around other people, but she's around him, and she's not masking up. The cameras in the home caught that, those black and white hidden cameras up there. And I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of inconsiderate to the people that you're going to be around. One thing they do after he gets better is they go wash their dog. It's the first time that Airris has ever washed a dog. And he was saying things like he wanted to lighten up her load, by washing the dog. And I've noticed that Airris does say very considerate and thoughtful things. He was early in the episodes, he spoke of taking her mom who has cancer to her appointments, or whatever he needs to, to be done. He would be there to help out. So I love that he offers himself that way, but all his sex talk is such a turnoff. I don't know about him. I don't know. But anyway, they had some time together, and he asked what would it take for him to fall in love. They asked that of each other. And one thing he said, he asked what's her name? I'm sorry, Jasmine. He asked Jasmine, is love scary? You are 40 years old and you're asking this young girl, is love scary? It's scary that you're asking that question on a serious note. It's just, he has some growing up to do. And he's so afraid. I mean, in the way he looks, he just looks like a deer in headlights. And it just makes him, I don't know, the way he's so frozen in his facial features when he's talking. He has that slow talk. He says silly things sometimes, but he has this deer in headlights frozenness to him, like rigor mortis is setting in. He's just too stiff for me. He's so strange that way. he has his guard up about love. He thought he felt something for somebody when he was about 28, and he got his heart broken, and he didn't want to ever feel that way again. So I think, maybe he's coming to terms on why he won't let Jasmine in. He has the walls up because one hurt. Everybody's so hurt. We got to get past the hurt. You got to be healed from that before you move on to the next relationship. And Jasmine, she's just a hopeless romantic, she said. She gets hurt, she gets back on her feet, and she tries again. Great for her. I think that's what we all should to work towards, being that way. They had a question. They're also asking questions like, he asked her if she's falling in love in this marriage, and she said she wasn't because there's no emotional connection. And I don't see where he's trying to make one, so that might answer that. If you're not willing to try, then it's never going to go anywhere, and there's no reason to say yes on decision day. They played a game, Never Have I Ever, and I don't know if he just started making these questions up himself. They sound like come straight from his head. He asked her things like, have you ever kissed the same sex? And she said no, and he told her to try life again. She asked if you ever had a threesome. I don't know if she asked it or he asked it, but she said no. He said no, but he's had an orgy. And the orgy was him and whoever else switching women around after they were done with them. It's like, oh. And then they asked about one night stand, and Kirsten never had a one night stand. She's never cheated. And this is how they were supposed to have a deeper conversation to get closer, make a connection to one another. And this sex talk to me just isn't it. He is all about sex talk. And that was pretty much it for this episode. The episode fell flat, so I think next week should be a little bit more entertaining than this week. But that is it for now. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. But I gotta go because I got living to do. Bye.